Deontay Wilder responds to Tyson Fury's offer. Knuckleheads, welcome to the Fighters Rep, where we give you free fights, interviews, and fight commentary from the mind of a promoter / attorney. So, Tyson Fury recently went on his country's version of a morning show, cleverly entitled This Morning, and he indicated, as he was advertising his autobiography about mental illness and how he overcame it, that he was concerned with Deontay Wilder, and he thought that Deontay Wilder had more to worry about than boxing at the moment. And then he went on to offer on the air Deontay Wilder help if he needed it, because obviously Tyson Fury's been through it, and he's probably hearing the excuses that are coming from Deontay Wilder and thinking to himself that, hey, this guy may be losing it, right? And so, before I get into Deontay Wilder's response to the offer, I want to say something, and I want to preface this with something that's very important. As much as Deontay Wilder's excuses have just sat wrong and festered with me and the majority of the boxing public, I think I can understand. Despite the fact that I wholeheartedly disagree with every single excuse that he's made, and despite the fact that I absolutely hate the fact that he scapegoated Mark Breland, Kenny Bayless, Tyson Fury, Ricky Hatton, and no doubt that that somehow implicates Sugar Hill Stewart, Andy Lee, Ben Davison, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and everybody involved. Despite all that, you know, as someone who came from less than fortunate circumstances, I want to say that I absolutely relate to what Deontay Wilder is going through. Now, I want you guys to think about this. You know, Deontay Wilder has constantly expressed the fact that he feels that he's been oppressed. And listen, when you're from Alabama, where he's from, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean, I'm from Miami, Florida, and I saw my share of stuff. I can't imagine what Alabama was like. But beyond that, you know, growing up in that tough circumstance, Deontay Wilder was then blessed, because I'm going to count it as a blessing, because just culturally, that's what I got to do. Blessed with a daughter. But imagine your daughter is sick with a serious disease like Deontay Wilder's is, and you're helpless to really do anything about it. And so Deontay Wilder took it upon himself to transform from a guy that was delivering sodas in a truck and just living a regular day-to-day life into a freaking Anunnaki hybrid superhero who was able within just a couple of years to win a bronze medal in the Olympics. I mean, this guy did all of this for his daughter. So I don't want it to be lost on the public and everybody else that Deontay Wilder definitely has a huge amount of empathy lying in that heart and in that head of his somewhere, because he basically transformed his entire life and his entire self and his entire being, and threw up massive middle fingers at what is no doubt horrific circumstances in probably a very tough life, in order to basically turn himself into a superhero for his family. So I just wanted to get that out there and say, listen, as much as I dislike Deontay Wilder's excuses, and I do believe them to be excuses, I don't think they have any validity at all, I am concerned for him, and I do admire what he's done to an extent, right? I do admire what he's done, and there's no way that a regular person can do what Deontay Wilder did. They say diamonds are created under pressure, and I think this man was probably under some severe pressure. And, you know, it messes with your head. If you don't think it messes with your head, being in a situation and in an upbringing like Deontay Wilder's, we're going to have to disagree. But anyway, I just wanted to preface the rest of this video with that, right? So, again, while I don't really agree with any of the excuses and I find them to be outrageous, a part of me feels concern and pity and sadness for Deontay Wilder. Really. Because he did this all for his daughter. And if you've got kids, you understand and you admire this man. That being said, his response to Tyson Fury's offer for help was as follows. He wrote on Twitter, "Hey Tyson Fury, don't worry about me. I am fine. Blessed. The only thing I want from you is for you to honor your agreement and fight me. I gave you 2 shots when I didn't have to, and it changed your life. Now it is time for you to be a man and give me my shot as you agreed to." You know, my thoughts on this, despite what I prefaced earlier, is that with excuses like these, right, and with a society like we have now where you could just say something without any evidence or with very little evidence and it's going to stick and tarnish your name and ruin all kinds of business relationships and personal relationships and so on and so forth. With a situation like this, with all these excuses and all these allegations, you know, if I'm Tyson Fury, I got to be honest with you guys. As a promoter, I promote kickboxing. You know, that's what this channel is about. We're a kickboxing promotion. I give you guys commentary. I give you guys interviews. And we're the most educated fight channel and the dopest fight channel on YouTube because we're the only one where as you subscribe and participate and donate and purchase items or whatever, you're helping me build a venue that gives back to the fight community, allows these young men and women to compete. But anyway, as a promoter and as a human being, you know, I look at this statement and I look at this situation, and if I'm advising Tyson Fury, I say the following. I say, Tyson, you got to draw with him the first time, and he only gave you the fight because he thought you were easy pickings because you had been out for 3 years and ballooned to 500 pounds or whatever it was and were on drugs and were totally messed up. You should have won that fight, but they gave you a draw. In the second fight, you dominated. You dominated. He didn't give you your credit. Instead, he's defamed your character. He's been slanderous. They're saying you cheated in the first fight, despite them getting the home cooking and the decision. They're saying you cheated in the second fight. It was a draw, and then it was a win. A third fight is not a rubber match because it was a draw and then a dominant win. Had it been a win for Wilder and a win for Fury, this would be a rubber match. It would make more sense. So not only have they already defamed you, but it's not even a rubber match, really. Moreover, if you fought him the third time, they're just going to say you cheated again if you win. What do you get out of it? And if the money's the issue, right, at least by fighting somebody else, you know you're going to have a date. Because I guess he's already lined up December 5th. So just go forward with December 5th because you know that's a solid date that's going to happen. And you can go right into a fight against Anthony Joshua, which is going to make more money than a fight with Deontay Wilder and has much higher stakes because Joshua's got the rest of those belts. It's also at home. Tyson Fury's been fighting on the road forever. He beat Klitschko in Dusseldorf. He beat Wilder in the United States. Should have beat him twice. Got ripped off. So if he's to take the Deontay Wilder fight as opposed to the path to AJ, that's not going to lead to more money. That's not going to lead to more belts. Moreover, why on earth would anybody work with somebody who is defaming them? Listen, guys, as a promoter, I've come across a couple fighters, a couple coaches, a couple people, and, you know, I tend to get along with most people. I'm an honest, straight-up guy. You know, I'll give you my opinion. You may not agree with it. You may not agree with anything in this video. But I don't say it out of spite. I say it because I believe it. There have been people I haven't gotten along with. One of them in particular, off the top of my head, said stuff about me that got back to me that involves my reputation as a promoter. And the result was I never worked with that person again, because in this industry and in this life and in business, your name is all you got. You got your balls and you got your word. That's it. Your name is all you got. So my question to you guys is, I've given you my thoughts in a nutshell. My question to you guys is, if you're Tyson Fury, do you give a guy who's been defaming you and who doesn't have as much to offer as Anthony Joshua does, but more importantly, a guy who's been defaming you over and over again and coming up with ridiculous excuses, do you give a guy like that a third fight? I don't. I don't give him a third fight. I ice him out the game, and he's no longer doing business with me. He can go do business with somebody else, but he's not going to be doing business with me unless he gets some sort of help, and then maybe we could revisit, but even then I doubt it. Because for me, there are degrees, and the excuses and the BS in this situation is just too much. So again, do you give Deontay Wilder a rematch? Knuckleheads, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation, the smartest, most educated fight community on YouTube, the dopest channel that not only grows as you support it, but also grows the best kickboxing promotion on earth as you support it. And if you want to support, again, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and get your Fighters Rep gear in the link below. We got t-shirts, masks, hoodies, tank tops. Please support us. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon.